Welcome back to the Boys. We're talking about one of the hottest shows around. It's me, Sparks Whitty. I'm joined, of course, by Ryan Eliopoulos.
Hello, I'm petting a cat for you audio listeners.
Ben Magnet, who is once again awake and present.
Yes, I am. I got some magical wake-up juice to try and help me stay that way.
There it is. And Brandon T. McClure, whose back does not hurt at all.
Not at all. You're not going to see me fidgeting at all. Also, this doesn't go out to audio listeners. This is only video.
Well, fuck you, I guess. The boys should know, baby.
Actually, I don't know why this isn't. Why we don't do this in video. It's just us gabbing.
Yeah, that's okay.
I think it started because you guys used to put clips while you talked in the old days.
No,
Nope.
we didn't do that.
No, we didn't.
Yes, you did. Hey, Game of Thrones had clips. Not clips, but like you would play on the corner. You would have like Game of Thrones bits when you.
Did you do
yeah,
that?
I think I tried.
Damn,
that was
it's been that long. I don't even remember what we used to
way
do.
Yeah.
too much work for not enough reward.
Yeah, I thought you
anyway.
meant.
We're here to discuss the last 4 episodes of The Boys. We discussed the first 4 episodes of The Boys. If you season 3, if you have not checked that out, go check that out.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about the last 4 episodes, closing out this wonderful season of television.
Let me first say we cover lots of shows on this here Fake Nerd podcast, and boy howdy, I just think we need to start reviewing The Boys week to maybe once every 2 weeks, because I'd rather talk about this show way more than some of the other shows we talk about sometimes. Because The Boys has consistently been fun. I've enjoyed every episode. I like the finale. It's going to be a very positive talk from me this week, my friends.
I think if 3 other shows had not been dominating at the same time as The Boys,
Yeah.
we would. I'm glad that we at least did this, because
No, I know. Yeah.
we've previously had to do a whole season wrap up of
It's
The Boys,
just-
and I'm like, it's just not enough time.
No, it's just like all like the mystery that we've had in other shows. I just wish we would have talked about, because there's so many good
Sure.
cliffhangers. Specifically of this last 4 episodes of the season,
Right.
where after the episode I'm like, oh, I wish I could talk about this, but I can't talk about it for 3 weeks.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, I think perhaps the way we go. Because we felt this way about Peacemaker also. When Peacemaker ended, we were all like, we should have done this weekly.
Yeah, well, we didn't know it would be that good.
Like I think potentially with Peacemaker season 2 and The Boys season 4, depending on when both of them come out, we will most likely do them weekly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like when Peacemaker first came out, it was like a sleeper hit. Like we knew it was going to be a good show, but we didn't think it was going to be.
That's not true. I didn't know.
No, that's
I
not
didn't-
true.
Look, anyone who's paying attention to the Fake Nerds Watch feed, if I'm being completely honest, I thought about this. I knew which show would get turned into a season wrap-up discussion if it wasn't The Boys. It was Miss Marvel, and I didn't want to do that to the first show with the Muslim girl, and one that we were anticipating, and honestly, one I'm enjoying. So
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be that one, and I was like, well, it's gonna be The Boys.
The Bears.
But I'm really happy we did it this way, because as we talked about before, it's like doing the season wrap up was a lot, and it made sense for the first season because that did drop in once, and the second season dropped weekly. This time, I'm glad we split it up, because I think
Brandon, are we on season 3 or season 4 of The Boys?
this is 3.
Okay, because that's season 4 up there, and I keep getting confused.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Nobody's going to see that.
We
but
watch
let me
Stranger
change it.
Things and The Boys, and I'm like, I don't remember which is which
He
anymore.
doesn't worry about it because they can't see that part.
No, I get you. I don't remember.
No,
Yeah.
it honestly felt like a whole season's extra worth has happened
It's a
with
chunky,
all these characters.
It's a chunky show, man. I love it.
I
yeah.
will say, like, The Boys did play to the advantage of, like, because we were talking about the formatting of how we did this discussion. They did drop 3 at once on one weekend, so I do think that, like, the lump of the first 4 did make sense,
No, it's true.
because they do the 3 at once, which
It's
is
true.
Woo.
This is just me always want to talk about
For
The Boys.
sure.
That's all it is.
Let's be honest. I think we could all probably agree the episode that ended with Annie going on social media. I was like, oh, shit, I wish we could talk about this right
That
now.
was,
Yeah.
That was an incredible episode. And after I watched that episode, so I started following the Vought social media account, which is
they've been hardcore for a while.
After, like, I saw some of their things, but like after that Starlight episode, I started watching it because they start doing they did the thing, like a letter from Homelander, like, you know, we don't condone Starlight's actions and blah, blah. She's left the 7 and blah, blah, blah. Like it's like important. It's important stuff for the show.
Marketing team for The Boys. It's all in character.
Yeah.
So anything that they tweet out, it's like it's in the boys. So like, yeah, it's extra. It's like extra material for the show if you follow them on Twitter, which is really fun.
Which is what all the Carson Coleman, whatever his name is, the Tucker Carlson copy that they've been doing the YouTube monthly videos with, keeping you up to date on what's happening in the world of the boys. I can't wait to see, because we'll probably get more of those between this season and the next season. So I can't wait to see what they say about obviously the events that happen right at the end here.
His own
boy howdy.
Avengers New York. Yeah.
Episode 5. Which one's episode 5? I just remember the last 3. Episode 5 was.
That is. Let me go to my notes.
We got the one. We meet Homelander. We pick up Homelander.
This is them finding and getting on the same page as Soldier Boy.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Soldier Boy.
This is the Crimson Countess,
right?
Getting taken out by Soldier Boy.
So it's the start of the like before the finale. It's a lot of Soldier Boy going to kill Payback, his ex team. So it's like an episode of him going to meet these people and take them out in different ways.
Get some payback, if it were, as it were.
Some payback, if it were. Yeah. Crimson Countess. Lori from The Walking Dead. Love to see that. That's fun.
Oh, Seth Rogen has another cameo.
Yes, as potentially himself.
As because he's cameoed as himself in prior seasons.
Yes, so that's just Seth Rogen, which makes sense for the amount of money he was paying.
Oh my god, it's so good.
That was. I don't think I could say his name because isn't it like something really bad?
It's like Sir Comes-a-Lot or something.
So like that was definitely like, dang boys, what a Seth Rogen cameo. But at the same time, I'm like, I've seen The Long Shot. I've seen this. Like I've seen Seth Rogen. It's weird that I've seen it twice, but I've seen Seth Rogen do a jerk off into a webcam. Like.
It's you know, you're right. I did forget.
Yeah, right.
That's true. Yeah. That happened to The Long Shot.
That one's even grosser than this one because that's the one.
Hey man,
well, see The Long Shot.
Sorry, Charlize Theron, Marvel star now. Yeah. So Soldier Boy showing up. I mean, this show has incredible characters. But like, I've never seen Supernatural, so this is really, except for animated stuff, my first Jensen Ackles experience. And boy, howdy, I get why that guy is a superstar.
I think
real.
Since you're enjoying The Boys so much, I do think like going back and just doing the crypt years of Supernatural. I highly recommend it. Just do the first 5 years. It's genuinely worth doing, and then don't do anything.
I mean,
else.
if it's the guy who made this show and Jensen, then like I'm strongly considering it.
Yeah.
I also noticed there's a lot of for whatever reason, Jensen Ackles, like it cued me into the shots when they open up the trunk and it's the. I was 100%. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. I made a note about that. There's a shot where it's Huey and Butcher and Soldier Boy, and they do it from inside the trunk, and it's them gearing up. That is a classic Supernatural shot of the brothers gearing up to do their demon fighting from the trunk. Happens all the time. That was definitely a reference. In that same episode, there's another reference to Supernatural. They're playing the Candle in the Window on a Cold Dark Winter's Night song. That's famously associated to a scene with Dean and Supernatural. So the fact that it was tied to Soldier Boy was not a mistake.
And you got that guy playing Bob Singer.
Yes. Yes.
Who's Bob Singer?
I just Jensen Ackles, I watched those first 5 seasons of Supernatural. I loved him in it. I like him in everything I see him in. But there's something about his performance as Soldier Boy that is just so like freeing for him as a performer. Like he's finally able to act again in a way that I haven't seen him do since those first 5 seasons of Supernatural, honestly. Like it's something that I'm just like, right, you're an incredible actor and you've just been handcuffed to one show for 16 years.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, hard agree. Like I watched too much Supernatural. I gave it too many chances past the 5th season, which I don't recommend. But Jensen's not an actor who phoned it in, but he also knew who Dean was, and you knew who Dean was at that point. So there wasn't a lot of new ground to uncover with Dean. So he was always performing Dean and doing a good job of it and playing him in the moments that he was thrown to. It's just that they weren't uncovering anything new about him.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like seeing Jensen get to stretch again is wonderful. He's such a good Soldier Boy. I'm so glad that he's not 100% off the table.
My biggest thing about the finale was like I sensed finality for a couple characters, and like I would have been fine because, like, you know, we're drawing to the end of the show. Like, if it's potentially like 4 or 5 seasons or whatever. Like, some people got to go, but like, I was happy that like it turned out both of the characters who presumed dead were back alive, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah. That's so much more potential. I love it.
I definitely want to get to that one in a bit, but first, I want to hear Ben talk a bit about overall how he's feeling. Maybe some of the earlier stuff going on in this last chunk of the season. Actually, wait, Ben, you weren't even on our first discussion about the book. Ben, how'd you like the season?
Oh my God, that's right, you weren't.
Yeah. So this season, I mean, as a show that's all about satire, or I feel it's about satire. This is a fantastically made show, wonderfully written, very compelling characters. Dear God, does this show make me feel uncomfortable? Now, I'm not talking about a certain thing in episode 6. That's not it.
You know what? That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
No, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be either. I'm talking about how very creepily a lot of things are parallel going on in the world of the boys that are also going on in IRL. That makes me very, very uncomfortable. And I know this is satire. I know this is making fun of those things. But at the exact same time, I am so glad I do not live in the world of the boys.
Can I bounce off that real quickly, Ben? Because I talked about in the first episode we discussed this, where, you know, I talked about, like, you know, clearly every point of the boys is showing a very angry Eric Kripke. He's just angry at the world. He's angry at the state of politics, at everything, and he's putting that into the boys. And I feel very much the same anger. I think we all do. But something else that has that same level of anger in a different story, for some reason, always rings hollow to me, but in a way that the boys doesn't. And Ryan hit the nail on the head that it's not surface level. He's actually deconstructing. He's actually playing satire. He's actually diving into why it is the way it is. He's actually putting a mirror to what our real world is through his anger. And I think that makes all the difference for something than like Don't Look Up, which has a very similar anger, but very surface level.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody pointed on Twitter that, like, yes, this show does make fun of conservatives. It also makes fun of liberals and how cheap and like
spineless.
Imagine all the people.
Yes, exactly. How very surface level their help can be just by singing a song. Incredible shit. I forgot that even happened. Oh my God.
That Imagine video. They recreated. I forgot that they recreated the Imagine video. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
God bless them.
Patton Oswalt. Oh my God.
I was laughing when they started seeing the Imagine video. I was like, oh my God, they did it. I mean, I will say good for the boys, because they're like calling out all the BS on both sides of the aisle.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Like, it's not because I don't talk about how it's like making fun of conservatives. I talk about how angry he is, because like I talk about how I share the same anger. I am also angry at liberals. I think we're spineless. I think a lot of liberals, especially in politics, are spineless jerk-offs. And so, like, when I see the boys, it is also saying that. It is also mirroring the fact that, yes, conservatives are damn evil, but liberals aren't doing anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's what I think the boys does so much better. Then again, this is weird to say because it's so fresh on my mind, but Don't Look Up has a very similar level of anger, but it's doing a very surface level attempt at showing that anger, whereas the boys isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Like, very quickly recapping the first few episodes of The Boys, like the first 4 episodes of The Boys, because I binged these episodes. Essentially, I almost binged it until I got to episode 6. That's when I finally caught up. Just fantastic, just compelling. It made me really sad when Butcher went from like the sort of stepdad where he's like, hey, I'm like watching the stuff that Ryan's sending me, and he's like the little stop motion Lego video I thought was really good with Becca's recording, and I was like, Butcher is like, oh, you're trying, Butcher, that's good, and then all the other shit that goes down is like, yikes on trikes.
Yeah, he feels like he has to push him away to save him. Because
Mm-hmm.
like he's Butcher, he might be a better dad than Homelander, but he's still not a great influence. You know?
Well, and like we talked about it in the first part back then, like we knew that moment with Ryan, he crossed the line, he might not be able to come back over.
And it's
from with Ryan. And
boy, howdy.
Homelander squeezed right into that spot perfectly.
Said just the right amount of words.
Just the right different take on what happened with Ryan enough to make Butcher not
made him relatable,
anymore.
And which is the worst thing you want to be towards Homelander.
Yeah.
Like, I get you, son. We're like, oh, please don't be. No.
Let's see. Soldier Boy comes back in episode 4, correct?
That's his like reveal.
That's right at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
So episode 5 is when he's murdering people on accident.
New York City.
Because Russian pop is everywhere, apparently.
Right? And that's Paul Reiser.
I listen to many different types of music that are popular.
That's Paul Reiser's first episode, right?
5, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
He shows up a couple times. Yeah. The legend.
Incredible seeing Paul Reiser in a second show this year.
Yeah. It's also cool because like the legend from the comic is like a comic book writer. And he's the one who like forged the tale of these people. So having him be a similar thing just for Vought itself is makes sense. It's still cool. He still shapes the story of the heroes.
He's the Stan Edgar before Stan Edgar.
Yeah. I love hearing about Soldier Boy, how everything he did was fake. Like he arrived on Normandy 2 weeks later for a photo op. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good job, Captain America. I love it.
Right. Which is important because like Huey has to realize that it's all bullshit and everything he's thought about who can be a male role model is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget this deep into season 3 that before Robin died, Huey idolized these heroes.
Yeah.
That he had posters of them, that he was a fan of them. So Huey's been chasing that idea of what strength is, and that's come into like a really toxic reality.
Yeah.
This time.
And he's trying to take out the bad apples because he thinks there are good apples.
Yeah.
Whereas Billy is like, there's none of them are good.
Well, and also his obsession with hi Luna. Sorry, Luna just came in. His obsession with having to save Starlight.
Yeah.
With having to be the person who saves Annie.
Because
it comes from that.
That's what a man would do. A man would save a woman, and that's how he feels about that situation.
That's how you display strength.
And it's great because Huey, this entire show, he's been like the good guy, but there are also like bad ways of being a good guy, of being a nice guy, right? Like having like exactly like you being the guy who always has to save the girl. That's shitty. That is very like you putting it on the girl, like, oh, I have to do everything for you, and it's like not even if you don't think that way. That's the way it is. Like sometimes people can be their own heroes. She's clearly stronger than you, guy, and you have a problem with it. And it's just something he never actually had to face until life-threatening. It's almost the end of the world in his case with Homelander. So, like, it's very real of, like, his insecurities popping out now instead of in, like, season 1 or whatever. Like, it feels very natural.
Well, and it's really good because it's Annie. One of the first things that endeared her to Huey was him
just being a dude.
Not minding.
Yeah.
Like him doing the thing where he's like, you've been bowling badly on purpose to make me feel good. And like, you don't have to do that. And the reality being that it has always bothered Huey. It has always bothered him that he's weaker.
Yeah.
And like, whether that's because he genuinely like wants to protect her or because he's upset because he can't stand up to the bullies that are out there. Like when Homelander is marketing their fake relationship and he has to just watch people talk about it and talk about him as a joke. It all just gets to him.
Yeah. It comes to a head when he talks about his dad at the end of in the last episode.
Yes, I thought that was a great scene. In the car, finally recognizing like what his dad did was strength and not weakness. And how he translates that to himself. I did think that was a perfect, like, you really needed that because Huey was also quickly approaching the I can't come back from this with Annie line. Yeah. That Butcher had already crossed with Ryan. I'm glad that it all that whole the whole arc for Huey only like I got nervous about it, but it was only because like, you know, you're watching Huey really go too far off the deep end. So I was glad that it all came back around.
Because
it's the boys, right? Like it's the boys. It could go anywhere. At the end of the show, Huey could die. We don't know.
Especially with like where we ended with Butcher as well. Like it's like, oh man, like they're putting the timetable on this show, kind of. Because you can't have a show without Butcher. And like I love the Annie and Huey stuff, and it definitely could have went away of like oh, they're gonna break up because like, you know, it's what you do at this stage in the show. But like, they're two people who love each other, and like you work through this shit, and it's like it felt very like, again, like very real and natural that these like superpowered people are having this type of problem. And it, like they resolved it in a way. I'm like, yeah, love is great. Yeah, talk it out, guys.
It also, by virtue of separating Huey and Annie, revealed, I think, very clearly this season. It was something we already saw, like the chemistry of these two in the previous season, but it revealed that the heart of the show, the true moral heart of the show, is MM and Annie.
Yeah.
They are the moral compass. It's not Huey. It's MM and Annie for sure.
I love MM in the show.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I feel MM is like MVP of the season.
MVP.
Yeah. Yeah. He just hearing all his stuff with Soulja Boy and him actually breaking down of what Soulja Boy did to his family, and even like later on in the season where he's talking with Frenchie, and Frenchie's like, you gotta tell Janine about your past. You gotta explain this to her. You can't hide the truth from her forever. You gotta. And MM is like, I gotta keep my stuff on lockdown. I showed an ugly side. I punched her stepdad. This is
rightfully. Yep.
Oh no, I'm like watching this, and he's like freaking out. I'm like, the guy deserved it. The guy.
I really can I real quickly because I don't want to dwell too much on that episode, but right now. But like when he says to his ex-wife, he took her to a Homelander rally, and the ex-wife's immediately like, "You did what now?"
Right.
I love that. Because
it's two things, right? It's like, I don't want her giving into Homelander propaganda because she recognizes that's what it is. Yeah. But it's also that she knows Soulja Boy's out there, and him and Homelander are about to like collide at some point, and she doesn't want her collateral.
That's just the media talking. It's fine. Everything's fine. Homelander said it's fine.
Todd's the worst.
Todd's the worst.
Okay, one of the
big
things
frick energy.
Earlier in the season, like when Homelander's during Homelander's birthday episode, and he's doing his speech, and the camera zooms in on Todd, and Todd's like, "Yeah," I'm like, "Oh shit."
We all have the same moment.
Yep, it's like, "Oh no, he's brainwashed. He is going down that rabbit hole."
He's MAGA. He's a MAGA.
Yep.
Haga.
Homelander, America great again?
I just said it. I don't know. So Soulja Boy has a plot. It's kind of like Monster of the Week, but for superheroes, which I liked. Just going to seeing the 40 years later of all these payback people.
Right.
You get, what's the gunpowder? Gunpowder's the guy
Gunpowder.
Butcher takes
out.
Butcher
takes out.
So we got rid of that one. Then we go to Crimson Countess, who has an exceptional music video about chimps not crying. If you haven't watched it yet, full 3-minute music video about how chimps can't cry because they don't have tear ducts.
All the just while you're on the note, like all the footage of whoever it is in Payback, mostly Soulja Boy, anything that's like the vintage footage is all so good.
Oh my god,
it's so well recreated.
Multiple songs in this season. Yeah. Like it was so fun. That
Soulja Boy video, what's the song he sings? In the 70s?
God, the crazy one.
Yeah, like, and I'm flying in a car and it eats my head and I'm going downstairs. It's a Blondie. It's Rapture. It's Rapture by Blondie. God, I watched that video, no joke, like 10 times because like Jensen Ackles is like a really like great performer. Like, I got her down, baby girl. Like, damn it, I like it so much.
The Tnt Twins when they're watching their movie, and there's like these guys couldn't even hit their mark.
They got Fenris powers. If you watch The Gifted, y'all.
Yes, that's right. So I was actually really surprised at the way they did Herogasm this season. We all knew it was coming.
I didn't.
We didn't know how much was coming. Am I right, though?
I didn't know that was a thing. I was seeing that like the little disclaimer in the beginning of the episode, like all over Twitter when the episode dropped before I saw it.
Oh, I remember that disclaimer came up on the screen. I turned to Zara. I go, I don't think you're gonna have a good time.
I'm like, no. I'm looking at this disclaimer and I'm thinking, okay, how bad is it going to be? Because some part of me thought it was a bit of a joke. Nope, it wasn't.
No, I gotta say, I quite honestly expected it a lot worse.
Me too.
I think us being like aware of the marketing, they hyped it up all real hard. They did hype it up really hard.
There is still more.
It is still one of the grossest things ever produced on television.
I mean,
there is more common this season than any season prior.
Look, I'm pretty sure no other television show has ever given you full butthole, balls, and cock all at once.
You got love sausage hanging out all around people.
Love Sausage came back. He was in the last season, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yes.
he was. Yeah, classic Love Sausage.
Classic Love Sausage.
Name it is Russian Pop.
That is a good name for me.
Yeah, so many. Yeah, Ben, Herogasm is a much bigger, almost Disneyland level-esque event in the boys comic, and they did pare it down for more like a hey, heroes come together just to be crazy, which is fine.
But mostly like C-listers.
Yeah. Which
you're not going to see Homelander at Herogasm.
You should. Don't be scared.
I mean, you do, in a way.
I mean, he shows up, but he's not there for the party. But yeah, you see ice. You see gallons of white goo goo. Yeah, you see the D and the B.
Poor MM just having a horrible time.
Just watch that jacket.
He's just like, oh, what I get on my favorite jacket?
Oh, what's the guy? Termite, the guy who goes small and big.
Yeah.
And he like wipes some stuff on. Man, definitely
He
still
gets squished.
Yeah. Oh, he does. Yeah. Still a really like fun, disgusting scene. Still like the stuff they are able to get away with is like, damn, like this ain't a movie.
So the TNT twins, they're brother and sister, right?
Yes.
Okay, they're definitely fucking.
I would they're held at an orgy, so yeah, probably. Maybe they're adopted. It's not so bad.
It could be that they're just comfortable, but they're not actually sleeping with each other. But it could go either way. It didn't matter. They were never overt one way or another about it.
Yeah,
I will say I think my favorite line of the season is happens in Herogasm, and it's Huey being like, "Oh, that's so sweet, but my butthole needs a rest."
Yeah. Oh, that's the sweetest line. Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I think the fight at Herogasm is excellent. The first time we see Captain America and Superman fight each other, I think it's really great. Butcher is there too. Huey's teleporting naked.
Homelander's reaction when Butcher and Huey both have powers.
Like,
so those individual moments of like, God, what?
Yeah.
and then Huey needs like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Homelander's like, what did you do? Butcher's crazy eyes, because he does a very similar thing to Green Goblin in Spider-Man No Way Home, where he's getting punched and he's like, yes, because he could take it. And I'm like, oh, this is all Billy's ever wanted.
Yeah.
Is to fight Homelander like this, and like, oh, it's like a dream come true.
Yeah, I think that there's one of my Herogasm actually has one of my favorite moments also, but it happens at the end. It's when Blue Hawk is killed.
Oh my god, that's so rough.
I legitimately felt scared for A-Train at that moment, because in the previous episode, it's the previous episode, right, where Blue Hawk paralyzes his brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew this confrontation was coming, and I didn't know how it would go, and the fact that A-Train was just like, screw it, and just like use his powers to kill Blue Hawk, like I was like, oh shit, is this how Blue Hawk is going to die? Is this how A-Train's going to die? Because like,
I thought that too, and there's a part of me that thought maybe that's the right way to go.
Yeah,
I hope so. I'm sure they have something in mind for what they can do with A-Train next, but right now I'm kind of like, that might have been the right ending point for A-Train.
Yeah,
only because the scene before was kind of like, in a way, a full circle on A-Train, because it's where he's confronted by Huey.
Yeah.
Oh
and Huey
shit.
said, you never apologize, and Huey's looking for a fight because he has powers now, and he expects A-Train not to do it, and A-Train's like, you're right, that shit's messed up. And I'm sorry, Huey. And Huey's like, that's not what I wanted.
See, that's also one of my favorite scenes. Like, Herogasm is incredible, not just for the boning, but like for the scene between Huey and A-Train. Like, I think about that scene so many times, because like A-Train at this point, he realizes that he really messed up prior. He does want to be better, and maybe redemption for him isn't going to happen. And so he has this moment with Huey where he's just like, he has the most sincere moment that he's ever had with another human being in this show with Huey, where he's just like, you're right, I'm really sorry, that was really messed up. But Huey being so enraged, he's internalized that anger so long that he can't let go, and he doesn't want to let it go. He wants to fight he wants A-Train to fight. He wants that way to go. He wants A-Train not to apologize, so he has a reason to keep hating A-Train.
Yeah, he did not expect an apology whatsoever. Yeah,
and honestly, neither did the audience.
Yeah,
and like, here's the thing, honestly, like, A-Train's not a character I want to see have any, like, I don't want him to have redemption. He's not redeemable necessarily. Like, he can try to improve things, but that character still, even as he's killing Blue Hawk, right? Like, his brother points out in the next episode, like, that wasn't about me, that's about you.
Yeah.
Like, this is still just about you.
Yeah.
And this is you doing the shitty thing and murdering. And, like, this isn't you improving. This is just you acting out. I think Ashley's scene with him is also really good. The one where she takes no more shit from before that, where she takes no more shit from him. This is the thing that triggers him to do the scene with Huey, which is now you want me to do something because it happened to you.
Yeah.
But I've been in the meetings for all your collateral, for your 3 murders, plus killing Pop Claw, which I know was you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that was you. And like it really like brings it all down on A-Train that, like, dude, you suck.
That's
like, you are a shitty person. You don't get to suddenly take moral high ground just because it's happening to you.
Yeah, so I do agree. I don't think he like can become like a good character like in the eyes of like the world and the audience, but like at the end of this show, I feel like a lot of people are now against Homelander in a way. Like with how at least the last episode is presented, with making Homelander, making the Deep do stuff. He just yells at A-Train, just like, because he always yells at A-Train. The thing about giving Blue
Heart, nobody's going to trust A-Train to work with them because he sold out Super Sonic.
I know. The thing about like him getting Blue Hearts, like he's had a change of heart. He now has like the racist guy's heart. So like I do think he is going to end up on the side of good, but he's not going to be like a good person. I think he's just gonna. His final act will be a moral good.
I do think we're on a trajectory where the Deep and A-Train, while not on the side of good, will fight Homelander.
They're not with the boys, but they are against Homelander.
Yeah,
I think it will all collide in like what I assume this fight. Like I remember, like when we talked about after episode 4, like where's like the show go, and like with all these different characters, and like I did not think we would end up in episode 8 where we are with all of these characters and stuff. I'm like, it's completely new to me, and that's really exciting because now I have no idea what the next season could really mean to.
Well, and I mean, like because we're on this topic of the Deep and A-Train, like this is now the Deep's crossed the line because the Deep had never been a murderer.
Yeah.
That's going to mess him up.
That had never happened before.
He's messed up now.
And now he is 100% marching to Homelanders, whether it's because of fear or his own I'm going to follow this the top all the way until I matter.
Yeah.
A-Train has already been in the muck of this for a while. And I think that's why I'm interested to see what they'll do, but it is one of the reasons why when A-Train was dying, I was kind of like, if it ends here, I think this is kind of pitch perfect full circle on A-Train.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll develop. These are great writers. I'm sure they will develop something that's going to make it worthwhile. I just liked the idea that might have been the end of that section.
Yeah. I'm perfect. I would have been happy with him dying there. But I like the trajectory I could see them doing with him too. Like they left me in a good place on both directions.
Speaking of Herogasm, the one thing I didn't expect to continue was the octopus.
Listen, he's got a thing for mollusks.
When the Deep is like, I want to bring a third into our relationship, and he pulls out the octopus, and I think the girl has a very reasonable reaction to that.
Well, maybe if you had gills, you'd think differently. All right.
It's just such a funny moment, honestly. Listen, like in an uncomfortable way. You're just like, I didn't think they'd go this far.
The thing is, that's always been the Deep, though. Even in the first season when he's rescuing the dolphin, and the dolphin is when the dolphin's in the back of the van, and he's like, "What now?" And it's like pleasuring a dolphin for some. Like the Deep's always been that.
I know, but like the fact that he was like he looked at this girl who has manipulated him into loving her. Like that's really what it is. Like, and she even says, like, you're nothing without me. I'm everything you are, and she's right. We've seen it in the season. And and he just goes like, by the way, I think you're going to want to have tentacle sex with this mollusk. It's such a gross and just uncomfortably hilarious moment.
After Timothy's departure from this earth, I think he owes the mollusks around the world some love because he feels so bad about eating that mollusk.
I think
that whole scene when Homelander announces that he's bringing the Deep back in, and the chefs show up to his room and they open up. It's all lobster. It's all seafood.
Timothy.
I'm just like, my God, Homelander, you're such a dick. And I don't want. It's weird because the Deep is one of those characters that I don't really want to feel sympathy for. But in some certain scenes, especially what he did as Starlight in this season 1, I kind of start to feel a little bit bad for him. It's like I don't want to because I know you're a dick, but at the same time, it's like this is messed up.
That's just good writing, good characterization.
It's kind of the same thing that you also kind of feel bad for Ashley in a sense. Also, like these are people who are abusing people because they are abused, and it doesn't make them on the side of right because they're not. They're still evil people. The Deep has sexually assaulted people and murdered someone now. And Ashley is a monster who does some nice things every now and then.
She's so good. That's so great. That actor, she is incredible. She has such such expressive eyes, and when she's really mad or when she actually is feeling sad for something. Like she has a scene with Starlight. I think it's in these 4 episodes where the scene with Starlight where she tries to reach to her humanity. Yes. And she's like, I can't. I'm a human being. What do you think I'm supposed to this is how I have power.
Well, and Starlight almost gets to her.
And
Ashley pulls the CEO card. But the thing is, Starlight still did get to her because by the end of the season, it's I'm gonna protect Maeve. Yeah. She buries the video.
I'm so happy about that.
And I'm really happy about that. But the thing is, but to your point, Ben, you do feel sympathy for these people because you're seeing them abused also. You're not just seeing them being abused, you're seeing them abused. And it's kind of, we talked a lot about how certain pieces of media this year have talked about generational trauma. This is kind of the same thing, how we're seeing how a CEO, in this case Homelander, is abusing the people under him, and they are abusing people under them, and they are abusing people under them. And it's kind of the cycle of abuse that keeps perpetuating. And so you feel bad for everyone except for Homelander in some way, even though you know that everyone else is just as bad.
It's also a case of these are except for Homelander, all of these bad people have shown the capacity for good. That's the thing. This is a superhero genre where we look for the best in people. So even the Deep, even E-Train, Ashley, they've done horrible things. They've also shown that they are capable of being good. So you want them to join the side of good, but when they do that, they'll end up like Supersonic and die. So that's what makes the boys so good is you're not allowed to be good in this world while Homelander's around. Yes. That's what's so compelling about it.
I felt so bad when Supersonic died.
Oh yeah,
boy!
When I'm watching when I'm watching the season and we see Supersonic, and obviously Huey's a little jealous of Supersonic, but I was always waiting for the shooter drop of when he actually tells Annie, he's like, "No, I still love you," and there's gonna be this whole love triangle thing, and he's like, "Annie, I'm gonna help you out. You've changed since the back in the day, and you're my friend, and I'm gonna stick with you to the end." I was like, "Hell yeah, Supersonic! Hell yeah!" I was really hoping for a little a Huey Supersonic team up or something where they both hey, we got each other's back. And seeing him on that roof, and I was heartbroken because he was a good guy on the show.
And that's the thing. That's what Ryan is talking about. The genuinely good people end up dying.
Mm-hmm. The only reason Starlight is alive because she has 60 million Instagram followers.
I know that's.
I want to ask, because we're talking about some of the people on the 7. I want to ask, how do we feel about Black Noir this season?
I like it. I love what they're doing with Black Noir.
When they
go ahead, Ben. Yeah.
No, when they reveal his face I forgot what episode it was, maybe episode 4, episode 5, but in the flashback when he was there in Nicaragua, I was like, oh, okay. Because everything up to this point, you viewed Black Noir as this silent assassin who never spoke, but it was always intimidating. Every time he enters a room or when he talked to that one girl in crime and analytics, she was always kind of very scared of being around Black Noir because he can wreck your shit. God, I felt it was really
The scene with Black Noir in his hideout, his
Chuck E. Cheese.
his Chuck E. Cheese essentially is incredible. Like
Yeah,
honestly, one of the best written scenes in the show.
I was not expecting. I was expecting something along the lines of Christmas Critters from South Park when those animated characters showed up.
Mm-hmm. No, that's how he facilitates his trauma. It's like it's through
I was not expecting these animated cartoon characters to actually like support him. And then when the Eagles had started speaking with Jensen Ackles' voice, I was like, oh, okay then.
Real quickly, because Sparks, I know you have a hard out soon.
Oh no, I'm cool.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. I really wanted to get your opinion because you haven't spoken in a bit
on Black Noir and the. I was trying to find his name in my notes because I know I wrote down
Irving.
No, the Beaver.
Oh,
Buster Beaver.
Buster
Yeah.
Beaver.
Buster Beaver. Yeah, I really like the cartoon way of doing it. I've heard some people say they would have rather seen like such an important thing in live action, and I'm like, I think that they were able to convey the viciousness in a way that like I think it felt more impactful because this is a show that's willing to cross lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, not to be reductive, but like it would have felt to some level of noise. Specifically like the injury that was done to Noir. We've already seen the after effect of it because we saw it in the flashback in live action.
Mm-hmm. He's all messed
up. But seeing the brutality of Homelander doing it to him,
Soldier Boy,
I think actually leaves more of an impact because it was rendered in cartoon animation instead of done in live action like so many other things on The Boys usually are.
Oh yeah,
and I think the choice to go that way with it made it more impressionable instead of less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the whole like animated sequence showing because we assumed that like something in the battle with the Russians did that to Black Noir prior, and then seeing that it was actually Soldier Boy who did it, and that Soldier Boy has been abusing Black Noir ever since, like not ever since, but like prior to this, and like we see the lead up to all that.
Right.
And I think having all the animated voices be those be the actors, like it's Jensen Ackles as the Eagle and it's everyone else's, and I think that made it honestly just as, if not more, impactful than if it was live action.
Having when Black Noir initially leaves, like you see him cut his vein open to rip the thing out. I'm like, what? Like this guy has just been again like a silent, cold assassin. It's a whole like for 3 seasons, and I'm like, what's going on with this guy? And then we go to his Chuck E. Cheese location. I'm like, man, this guy's just as messed up as everyone else, man. No one's safe in this show. Everyone's got something going on, even if you're a stone cold killer.
And he's scared of Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
And he truly cares about Homelander.
And that's another God. Anthony Starr is in like, has that guy been nominated for an Emmy yet? Like for real, that dude is so like Billy too, but like Homelander, the way he just switch emotions like on a fly is like it's so insane. And like having Black Noir be his best friend, and like he really is his best friend, and you see the love between them and the betrayal that Homelander thinks he's feeling at this moment. I'm like, it's all so compelling for a guy who doesn't speak at all. Like
I love how after we see his cartoon mind creatures, we see from his perspective the cartoons keep popping up again. Like when he hugs Homelander and the hearts pop out, and I think that's all really cool. And when he's dying, just the Buster Beaver shows up again, and he's just like, "Hey, you did the right thing, buddy." And
don't worry, you'll be embraced in the sweet embrace of Jesus Christ.
Oh my God,
that I was not expecting.
And you see, and it's such a powerful death scene because you see the light. You see him die, personified through Buster Beaver walking backward with his mask.
Yeah,
oh, I'm crying.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I thought that was a harsh to watch Homelander taken out for both of them. Like just the pain of these guys. And I mean, like, it's easy to understand why Black Noir didn't tell him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Homelander would have sought him out, and he's like, he's a bad guy. He would have been bad to you. You see it when we get to their meeting at the end. Like Soldier Boy would have done exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Because he says because we think that might not be the case at the end of episode 7 when he's like, the the messed up thing is I would have let you take him the spotlight. What father wouldn't want their kid to have the spotlight?
Right.
And because you think that like, oh, he would have been a good father, but like when he sees Homelander, he's just like, I would never have raised you to be such a, well, he says a bad word.
Well, because that's a different thing. He would have raised him to take the spotlight, and it's who knows. Like, I mean, Homelander would be a piece of shit, but he'd be a piece of shit for different reasons and in different ways.
Yeah.
And like because a lot of his problems stem from a lack of love when he was small and a lack of parental guidance or care.
Lab baby.
Yeah.
That reveal that Soldier Boy is actually Homelander's dad is
that he's the daddy boy. Yeah.
Incredible.
Even if it's just like through through science or whatever, like that's all Homelander needs to hear.
Yeah.
That's blood, baby. Blood is blood.
Because that's what messed up Homelander to this point. That's what made that's what Homelander blames anyway, that he didn't have a father figure. He didn't have parents. He was grown in a lab and he was abused, and so that's what he blames, even though that's probably not entirely true. And so he thinks that if he had a father, it would fix everything. Everyone would love me, someone would love me, I would have everything I want. But that's not what would happen, because Homelander is quite honestly a piece of shit no matter what.
Homelander's whole arc through these 4 episodes is really great. This is where we start off with the him taking over the company, and he's hearing about like managing the stocks and investments, and he's like panicking, freaking out. This was a mistake.
He yells at some lady just doing her job.
Yeah. He's like, don't say words I don't understand. You think you're smarter than me?
No, I really don't.
Yeah.
And that goes back to that goes back to one of the things that I think the show does really well is and I saw it in the beginning. I saw it in the first season and in the second season, but I think this season really solidified that the thing that this show does quite particularly well is show how abuse begets abuse, how bullying creates bullying, how and I've talked about it already in this episode, but like it's something that always astounds me, because it's something that is so personal to me. The fact that, like, you know, Homelander, like we talked about in the first episode, when did your brain get fucked by stupid? Did your idiot brain get fucked by stupid? And that gets repeated by Ashley, because that's what happens. That's what abuse does. Abuse creates an abuser.
It's a second.
And then she pulls out that one toy.
No, she does it to the Tucker Carlson.
Oh, that's right.
Tucker
Carlson.
And he's all like, "What?" And he's all like, "Yes, it is."
Actually, yeah. Homelander's whole arc this season is basically how much further can I present my real self and not cross the line with the public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been inching further and further along for. And while he's dividing the public, he's still keeping an audience that loves him.
Yeah.
His base.
Yeah.
And that's what we get to at the very end of the season.
Hottie toddy.
When he finally kills someone in front of people.
Yeah.
And the people Todd. What's his name?
Todd. Yeah.
When he's just like, yeah, that's what we want. You killed libtards.
Man, yeah. And it's such a impactful scene, but also like the beautiful like orchestra starts playing, and it's like extra sinister because of the violins, and I'm like, oh my god, this.
And then it's extra sinister because Ryan starts smiling.
Yeah, yes. And the Deep, we didn't know. Homelander asked the Deep to do something, and he wasn't happy about it. And then we see it's the vice presidential candidate. So now Victoria Newman is vice president. Bro, it's lining up. It's so juicy. This is such a juicy show. Like, I hate that I have to wait like another year and a half probably for this next season, because I'm like, oh my god.
One of the scenes I want to talk about is when Newman is talking to Starlight, and she says, "Yeah, I thought he was scared I was gonna pop his head." It's like just straight up. It's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not gonna hide anymore. It's like, I know you know, and now you officially know, and you know what I can do to all y'all.
And she gives her the little nosebleed, like she did just a teeny bit, and like that is so scary, because like how powerful is she? Like, can she literally do anyone she wants? Maybe except Homelander. Like,
we talked about that before. Like, Homelander doesn't even know. He's like, it might work. Who knows?
That's true. Yeah.
Or he might just give me a really bad headache. Want to find out?
Yeah. In these 4 episodes, Victoria and Homelander have an agreement of some kind. I kind of figured it was giving the address of where Ryan lives. I kind of figured that was what it was, and it was. I like
the line. I can hear your fingers squeaking on that screen.
Your clumsy fingers,
fingers on that screen.
But yeah, after what Butcher did to Ryan, and like Homelander's like, I'm your father, I love you exactly how you are. What you did was an accident.
Nobody understands that better than I do.
And nobody gets that.
That's the difference, right? Like, that's what we talked about. Like Butcher, still to Ryan's point of view, Butcher blames Ryan for the death of his mother, and Homelander doesn't.
Right. And that was the mistake. Like, and we knew it. I said, like, I don't think there's a way Butcher, it's going to be really hard for Butcher to come back from that with Ryan.
Yeah.
Is because he said specifically those words.
Yeah.
It's not him pushing the boy away in general. It's that he said exactly what he said. And because he said that, I don't know that he can come back with Ryan.
And yeah,
it's such a sad thing when we get to the fight at the end, when we should talk about the fight just in general because it's great. But like the when Ryan says, "I want to go, Dad," so let's just go, and he leaves Butcher.
Yeah. After
Butcher just tried to save him, like it's a great moment.
But in a way, also is saving Butcher's life.
That
is also present because Homelander and Butcher are about to square down, and Butcher will lose.
Yeah.
And Ryan is choosing, let's just go. So there's an amount where that's like, kind of like, while he is choosing Homelander, he's also still slightly protecting Billy.
Yeah. And that fight though, the fact that it starts with we're going, okay, Homelander is going to go up against Queen Maeve, Butcher, and Soldier Boy, and then Ryan gets in the middle, and then both Butcher and Homelander are like, nah, to Soldier Boy.
It's like literally the only time this can happen, but they have to work together for a hot second. They look at each other and they're like, ew, lasers.
Because it's such a cool moment, that they laser Soldier Boy, and then they look at each other like, oh wait, I hate that. I hate this.
I definitely knew that like it wasn't going to be the 3-on-1. I just wasn't sure where things were going to pop off.
Pop claw off. Oh right, you guys have a
dogs.
Have a dog thing. The fight with the fight there is just such a cool thing because like Queen Maeve, who decides to take on Homelander, and this is like what she's been training for the whole season. Like this is what everything is about. Like she's been faking all of her problems to the public so that she can train to take on Homelander. And now she finally gets to do it. And I'm really glad that it wasn't Homelander versus Butcher. It was Homelander versus Queen Maeve to kind of get that character arc a payoff. And I was so scared that Maeve was going to die in the scene.
Yeah, and it was again one of those situations where like if this is where she goes out, man, she goes out so hard. Yeah. She goes out taking on Homelander 1-on-1 and then taking out Soldier Boy.
Like you don't need to. She doesn't need to live out of the scene, but like the fact that as of now, she is one of the few characters to get a happy ending is very nice.
I love that she shows up with her ex-girlfriend now, just probably her girlfriend, because things can be normal for them.
Yeah, because she lost her powers.
Yeah, yep. I think that's I have to heal like all you normal people. Like I love that. Sucks for you that you're just like you have a missing eye and you're a person, but like you're alive. You get to live a life without Homelander. Like she did win, if anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And awesome. Maeve got freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just love the interaction between her and Annie. It's like, do I go pirate? Do I go pirate patch or do I go glass eyes? She's like, oh no, definitely the pirate patch.
I will say I really love that too, and I'm really glad that it went the way it did because like Maeve's down the dark path before that, where she says there's no such thing as heroes, and agrees with Soldier Boy to like kill Homelander, but she does choose the heroic act. I like all of that. What I do want to say, like a small negative on the season, is because this is Maeve's swan song. Essentially, I wish we'd had more.
We don't get a lot of her
earlier in the season.
She was also locked up for a while.
She was, yeah. I wish they had found a way to not completely take her off the board for like 2 episodes. Because this was the last season with Maeve.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
We get some good character stuff with her, like with Butcher, but you're right. There's not really a lot with Maeve this season.
Right. And I think that, but I do think like this is a good full conclusion to her story. Is it in this chunk of episodes where she sleeps with Billy, or was that in the first?
I think that was in the first 4.
Okay. So
I think it's in this chunk.
Oh, is it in 5?
I think it's in 5.
It might be in 5. Yeah.
Let me check. I got it in my notes.
Real
yes,
quick,
it is. It is in 5.
It is in 5. Okay, yeah. That is a good moment. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like there was room to like just explore more before the character's gone.
I'm really.
There's one character we didn't talk about. It's the
2.
Yes, 3. Mindstorm. There's
3.
3. There's a lot of like the smaller characters, but I just want to talk about. I think that the Mindstorm episode's really great.
Yes.
I love
Billy trapped in the loop.
Billy trapped in the loop. That's so sad, and
My God.
you see so much of his brother and Huey and all that stuff. So good.
I think we always knew that he saw his brother in Huey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But seeing it like spelled out was really powerful to watch.
Yeah.
Right. We assumed that we were seeing either a young Billy or Lenny when we talked about the first 4 and he was looking at Huey throwing up and saw the little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know for sure that was young Lenny. They do a great effect on Butcher trying to leave the memory and that like his hand phasing, the door like jitters and he can't get his hand on it.
Yeah.
It is rough having to watch him walk through those beats.
Yeah.
And that goes back to like what we've talked about a lot this year, just in general, like the what generational trauma can do to someone and how Butcher didn't want to become his dad, but at the end did.
Yeah.
And like that's awesome.
Yeah. That was another cliffhanger ending where I was like, oh man, Billy, where he doesn't tell Huey about the temp V and he's like, we gotta go to the lab, get more temp V.
Yeah. I absolutely wasn't. I really wasn't sure if Butcher was going to be a hero or he was going to get Huey killed with him because we have to kill these heroes no matter what. This is who I am no matter what. So I'm glad he knocked him out to save him.
Right.
And like that's the thing about Butcher, that because like you don't know at the moment what those memories did to Butcher, what those memories kind of made him realize what had happened, how he's been treating Huey, how he's been treating people in his life. You don't know how that is going to change him, and how much of that Butcher wall is impenetrable. And so when Annie says, the Tempe is going to kill you, he has this moment where he's like, I should tell Huey. I will tell Huey, but he can't. He's almost physically incapable of actually saying those words.
Yeah.
Then knocks him out at the gas station bathroom just to make sure he doesn't
saves him.
more.
The only way he knows how is through violence.
Yeah. And like that's what I want to talk about the Temp V a little bit, which was one of the things that I was really hoping that they wouldn't do was give the boys powers like they do in the comics.
Yeah.
I really like that change from the comics because I think it creates more compelling characters for us to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was hoping, and I think I trusted that they wouldn't go down this route, but like there was still part of me that was thinking that potentially they could, was that the Temp V could become a more permanent staple with them, and they'll just have powers whenever they need them.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were like, no, there's a hard line. If you take more, you will die. I was really appreciative of that element because it's like, I think the direction that they went in is far more compelling.
Yeah, and it's not like Compound V isn't there because Kimiko gets her powers back for just reasons as opposed to Huey who wants them for negative reasons.
I really like her writing out the thing for Annie about why she needs it.
Yeah,
those were the two characters I was alluding to. We haven't touched on Kimiko.
Yeah. I love so cute.
I really love Kimiko's arc.
Yeah,
I did write down. It was the last episode where we had Nina. But I did write down a note where I'm like, I need this Nina stuff to be done now.
I think,
it was the dragging part of the season.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Storyline. I really like how it comes to a head though with Kimiko thinking that at the moment she thinks that like, oh, the V didn't make me a monster. I was always a monster. Mm-hmm. But then like her coming to the point of realization where it's just like, I want this to save my friends. I want this to save my family. And I think that's a really, and you're right, Ryan. I think we saw the same kind of reading of this, which was just like Huey wants it to be strong, whereas Kimiko wants it to protect people.
Yeah.
And that's where the difference lied. And it's a beautiful juxtaposition, I think. And Kimiko's whole arc is wonderful and also just her whole arc with Frenchie is just, I think, one of the best written in the season so far.
And she does it all without talking. Like she's so expressive as an actor, and like anytime, like she has multiple dance scenes, whether it's dancing or fighting to Maniac.
Oh man, that Maniac scene is so good.
Yeah,
that is good.
But just a great stunt performer.
And Frenchie when shut your cake hole, Frenchie. No, I will not shut my cake hole.
Yeah,
dental.
I want paid vacation and dental.
Open. Yeah.
Such a good moment.
Yeah. It was a little out of left field, but I still really enjoyed it. Was the dance sequence, the musical dance sequence.
Beautiful.
I was like,
in her head.
At first I was like, oh, does she actually like speak? I was like, oh, and then when Frenchie runs out, I was like, she speaks, and it was all in her head. I was like, darn.
She speaks.
Yeah, I thought that was also a really good. That's just a really good scene. Like, I mean, anytime you want to throw in a musical sequence, I'm always in.
Yeah, I don't mind at all.
You got some people with the little reflex hammers banging the pan.
Yeah, it's like a musical sequence the way the boys can do it, where it's not the hospital all of a sudden becomes a musical set. It's people using hospital things to make the music, and to like dance with like bedpans and like those little reflex sticks. It's a great sequence. I really liked it.
Right. Yeah, I think I just wanted to touch on that. The Nina stuff, I like the point of what Frenchie's realization is about how Billy pushes him around and how he's always been getting pushed around and he needs to step away from that life. But the Nina stuff just dragged in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know if it needed to just be tighter in the season.
What's up with Russian stuff in our prestige television shows, y'all? What's going on here?
I think that
Paul Reiser, what's happening?
I think I said this when we talked about the first four, that I'm like, I'm fine with the Nina stuff if we're done with it here. And we weren't done with it here because we got into episode 5 and that's when Nina ducks him from the hospital. And then the next episode is when she has him chained up and Kimiko and the other girl are about to be killed.
Yeah.
The greatest regret of my life is that I miss Herogasm.
And Kimiko has to fight their way out of it. And I was like, I didn't need the more Nina of this.
Yeah.
Even though it is the thing that pushes Kimiko to decide to take the Compound V, which is also a good beat. I think the other thing is just like in the back of my head, I'm in fear of Nina's return because Nina doesn't die.
Yeah.
She leaves. And that element just was like, it felt like it was being mined a little too much for not a lot of reward, which is mostly just like, we do want more Frenchie. I love Frenchie. I want more Frenchie in the show. This just was such a side tangent that didn't completely work for me, other than like the results it brought for the two characters.
Yeah, no, I think
I'll go with that. Yeah,
I think you're right. The results of it are far stronger than how we got there, and I think that because it's how Frenchie comes to the realization that he needs to self-actualize, and it's how they get to the point where the boys. It needs to be a democracy and not just run by Billy,
right?
And that's all because of Frenchie. Well, not because there's a lot of parts that create that, but like Frenchie's part is because of little Nina.
Yeah, right, and because and also on the other end of that is Butcher really burning some bridges with MM.
Yeah. I love the joke that. I mentioned it just a bit, but I just want to reiterate. I just love the joke that every time when all the characters went to Herogasm, they're like, "Man, Frenchie's gonna really hate this." The fact that Frenchie would have loved this.
Yeah.
The scene, I think it's in the final episode, where MM is telling Janine about Soldier Boy and what happened, and how like sometimes I get really sad, and sometimes when I think about it, it makes me really mad. But it's something that's a part of our family and our history, and I got to live with it, and like I got to share this with you. And I'm like, that is such a beautiful, real, just like heart to heart moment that this show is so good at doing. And it shows like he's dealing with his OCD. And like his daughter puts her hand on his hand. I'm like, it's such wonderful acting from everybody in this goddamn show. Like it is. I'm so shocked that like the Boys comic book, which is what it is, turned into like one of not just like the greatest like comic book shows, just a good television show.
It's one of the best shows on TV.
compelling, just great characters that also happen to be like the genre we love of superhero stuff. Like it's just fires on all cylinders for 3 seasons. I'm just like, man, how do you keep this up, y'all?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I lament how good the show is because we never got that Dead Man TV show from Kripke. Like, man, if we got that in between Supernatural and this, that would have been great.
Yeah.
You put the world's most deadly neurotoxin in a $10 bottle of Starlight's Wish.
Oh yeah.
Good. Go ahead, Sparks.
We very recently talked about Stranger Things second half of its season. You can check that out on Fake Nerds Watch. But in there, I forgot to mention what I'll mention here, which is that watching this show at the same time as watching that show is one of the things that made me go, man, this show is dragging. And it's jumping from characters and subplots, and there's so many, like, like really A Train is the D or E plot of the season. And still, I'm always interested when we're jumping to these characters. Even with the Nina stuff, there's still something I'm caring about with what's happening to these characters more than when you look at Stranger Things. That's where I was feeling like these characters just aren't doing anything. Like, we're jumping to these characters and nothing is happening, and The Boys is constantly moving these characters forward.
What's interesting to kind of piggyback off that comparison.
Piggyback, you say?
Oh, whoops. The episode count is roughly the same. I know Stranger Things had 9 this season instead of 8, but the length of each episode is much longer in Stranger Things than it is in The Boys, and I think The Boys used its real estate a lot better, quite honestly.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Like, all of the characters we've discussed, and we still haven't really gotten to be able to touch on all of them individually, all have full arcs, and we're only talking about the last 4 episodes. They all have so much have happened to them, and so many things have moved these characters and changed them and progressed them. And Stranger Things, I enjoy the season, but like,
it meanders.
It meanders, and you feel like that was the thing, is I was coming from The Boys to the second half of Stranger Things and being like, boy, like, this is just not moving the same way. Like, this is the Russia stuff in Stranger Things. Like, it does not move these characters the way that The Boys do, and like, they are different shows, but it does make you wonder about like the time and the real estate, as you said, Brandon, of what they are doing with the show. These writers know how to manage these characters and how to manage your time. I mean, Ashley has a more full arc than Hopper in this show. Like, that's, come on now. Like, it's just one of those things where, and this is, I'm specifically citing Stranger Things because I gave Stranger Things a thrashing for not using its time properly and taking too long to do things. But any show could learn from this. Any show could learn from The Boys. This is how you think about characters. This is how you move characters forward. This is how, like, essentially, if you get to a scene and the scene is not advancing any of your characters or advancing any of your story, then why are you doing it? And The Boys really constantly shows that, because it's doing that even in minute levels, whether it's with Ashley or Ashley's Ashley or whatever. It's all of these characters are on a trajectory.
The Deep's ex-wife, she Into Deep.
Into Deep, my journey to freedom, boy.
Love it. Every character gets an arc.
And like, that's what's so great about that is that you're not overtly told that they are no longer an item. You get their fight, and then you get that book title, and that tells you everything you need to know about what happened to those characters.
Oh yeah, she escaped freedom. Yeah.
She escaped the deep.
Right.
Homelander. Yeah, Homelander ends in the best place he could possibly be, with just allowing him to be a murderer man.
Oh my goodness. Just the fact we talked about in the beginning of this, how does this end? We asked the question, like, how does this end with Homelander still on top? How does this end with Homelander still on top? And the Boys is such a brilliant show because it's constantly taking left turns when it should take a right turn, and what any other show would take a right turn. And it's just such a wonderful direction that the show took, to the point where, and going back to like Kripke's anger, because it's directly mirroring something that Trump said he would do, he could do, where Homelander does kill for lack of a better word, a liberal, and all the conservatives that are on top of Homelander, that are like sucking Homelander's dick, are very, very happy about it. He killed that person in cold blood, in person. And because that bottle hit the kid, they're going to be able to spin it like, oh, Homelander was just defending against a terrorist. Yeah, I can see it. I can see exactly how Vought could spin it. They defending against a terrorist, defending against a bad apple, blah blah blah.
It's brilliant. A child.
Brilliant.
But like, and they will, but we are now at a point where it's not everyone loves Homelander. A portion of people love Homelander, and that's what we're going to be doing going forward. Is like, how will this affect the company? How will Homelander have to think about it now? Because yes, he can be more of himself, and he'll have his base, but is his base enough?
Yeah, and the stakes at the end of this episode were like even Vought Tower gets damaged. Like they're brilliant. Like the fact that they were just like, we are not ending this at the status quo. We're going to constantly, because like season 2. For the most part, season 2 ended with the status quo of Homelander being, still Homelander, still being this beloved figure, even though it ends with him jerking off on top of the Empire State Building. I
mean, it has the rings of everyone knows Stormfront's a Nazi, so he's going to be carrying that baggage, which we saw him do at the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Homelander, how'd that happen?
And then, but like here, it's such a quite literally exploded the status quo, and the next season could go in any direction, and it's such an exciting place to be.
They can definitely, I mean, the show's already quote unquote political, but like they can definitely like it not I'm not going to say like it's going to be like a more of a country, like the country gets involved more in The Boys, but like I definitely think we'll see more of a scope of Homelander's base versus the rest of America, which also could be like regular conservatives who don't want to murder people. So like this could become like almost like a Watchmen-esque thing where like you see this bigger evil group rise in America, and that's the real challenge of like,
and that would parallel what we're seeing right now is the rise of the ultra conservative, the ultra right. Singer Dakota Bob talks about like how when he's doing the rally, when Homelander is doing the rally. And all he's doing is just talking about how Stormfront sells children to sex slavery, and Starlight. Sorry. And he goes, and Dakota Bob's just like, what the hell is he doing? And even like Newman is like, you spent the entire rally talking about Starlight and not the future president of the United States of America. What is wrong with you? You need to get your shit together. Like the fact that Guess through their partnership, obviously Bob and Newman are going to be all on board the Homelander train, because of their partnership that they have. But like even they're kind of like, this man's going off the deep end. Very curious about where that's going to go.
And again, it's a situation where who's going to stop him? Not really anybody could stop him. Which is going to be.
I had a question about that. So the gas that they use to take down Soldier Boy, do you think that would work on Homelander?
Probably. I'd have to assume.
Homelander's not that much stronger than Soldier Boy.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it probably would.
Yeah.
Like you could probably. They now have a recipe to probably dose him and take him down.
Frankie's got that memorized.
I love the.
Also importantly, Maeve heard him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That training helped, baby.
Maeve got something in his ear and it hurt him.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to matter.
I wonder if that's going to like mess with his brain to make him even crazier for the next season.
I think just in general, like, I don't think he's ever
experienced that,
really been injured like that, and it's going to throw him.
Yeah.
There was something that the final battle, we talked a little bit about Huey's arc. I like that the visualization of Huey's end to his arc is that he turns on all the power to give Starlight more power. Just a bigger blast.
And Starlight finds out she can fly.
Like the whole thing of like, he looks at the Temp B to be like, I gotta save Starlight. Wait, I can just give her more power, and that's how I'm useful.
She could do it herself, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. There's also a line in the thing where they're looking at replacing Soldier Boy in the when we're seeing the flashback through the cartoons, and Edgar says, "We have a replacement for Soldier Boy, and he can fly."
Right.
It's a good line, I think.
And he can fly.
Annie and MM in the car together. Just a really good scene where he explains like what happened to his family. And I can't highlight enough how much I love those two, that he's the one with her when she makes the social media post. Like they are now the heart of the boys.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that Annie will be part of the team with MM. MM and Annie need each other. The way that MM was going to go after Soldier Boy in the Herogasm episode, and Annie's like, stop, there are people here. We have to get they're going to die. And she pulls MM back on focus. Like we protect people. Like that's what we do.
She is a real hero.
That's the
And
thing,
so is
right?
MM. And that's the reality. Is so is MM.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that it's not that all superheroes are bad. It's that what Vought has done is bad. Right. Vought has Edgar even says that, like, in the first couple of episodes that we talked about, that like he doesn't want to babysit anymore. He recognizes that all these superheroes that they have on their payroll are just the worst. And the fact that like Starlight is the reason why she's good is because she's not controlled by Vought.
And now she's not even going to be a superhero anymore. She's just going to be Annie.
And I think that's such a great small thing that really doesn't need to happen, where she's just like, I'm going to throw away my super suit. And MM is like, this is a historical building. You need to like tie your bags and you need to.
So good. We didn't touch on it. Homelander's conversation with his own reflection.
Oh yeah.
It's one of his best scenes. Where it's the part of him that essentially wants to connect with humanity, and the part of him that's all soups are the only thing that matter.
Gollum moment.
Yeah, that was real good.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's a real good scene. Yeah. Anthony Starr is so good.
Yeah. He is. He's very, very good. The way he's able to change moment to moment is so good. I just want to share this because I wrote it down as a note. Is a penis answers the door, which is the note I wrote down on Hero Gas.
True statement.
Real quickly, can I?
A train to Africa.
A train to Africa. My goodness. Can I just real quickly talk a little bit about Anthony Starr?
Please.
We talked about we've seen his praises a ton, and I rightfully so. And I just want to reiterate, just like there is something that he does with his smile, where you know that when he smiles, he is dead behind the eyes, and the fact that he is capable of putting on that smile at the drop of a hat, and you know how every scene, how unhinged he is, like the scene with Noir, like. It's quite honestly some of the best acting, not just in superhero television, but in television.
No, for real. Like specifically with that Noir scene, because like he's sharing, as opposed to doing like fakes emotion, this is all real emotion.
That's it.
He cannot process that his friend's betraying him, and it's like he has to put on the front, but he just can't do it.
And he even says after he kills Noir, Noir was worth more than all of you put together, and I killed him. So see what will happen to you guys if you betray me.
I don't need you. You're not my family.
Take that wig off, Ashley.
Oh, poor Ashley, man. When she rips out her hair when she's talking about to A-Train, just rips it out.
Yeah. Just I wrote down the note about we did talk about like Homelander's response when Billy has powers, but Homelander thinks he kills Billy at first. He comes in and he's just done with him. And so he zaps him into the wall and he thinks it's over. No more Butcher. And then Billy steps out with his powers a little later.
What did you do?
Yeah. I thought that was really, really good. The scene in Herogasm where Butcher stops MM from going after Soldier Boy, and MM beats at Billy with a bat.
Oh, and it doesn't do anything.
And he's just so angry at him, and Butcher just lets him do it. Thought that was really good. Like those two going through some shit this season.
He roofies MM at one point.
Yep.
It's a blink and you miss it moment, but the Deep drives a Hummer, which I just think is funny.
It's the least.
You're right.
Yeah. God, that's pretty good. Extra diesel.
Yeah.
F the environment.
I love this. This was a good quote too. To be American means knowing you're the hero.
Yep. Okay.
That was the Legend talking about the concept of selling America and with Soldier Boy. Thought that was really good.
I hope we get more Legends.
Me too. God, I mean, put him in anything.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love seeing how just done he is with Soldier Boy. Like Soldier Boy's about to have sex with the maids.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, well, now I can't fire them, so thanks.
These are expensive sheets.
Oh, we didn't talk. There's just so many wonderful moments. We didn't talk about Homelander wanting to harvest Maeve's eggs and how that like parallels the like, you know, taking away her choice.
Oh my God. And that happened like literally the same week in the Supreme Court.
And there's no way they could have known, but like how topical.
It's Jesus. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I thought that was really rough the way he was saying like you know you're essentially on ice so I can harvest your eggs to make perfect children.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you live, I'm keeping you alive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sinister.
But I love also in that scene that Maeve has the you know, do what you want, but this is still a great like top 3 day in my book because it's the first day I saw you scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He walks in and she's like, "Are you wearing concealer?
Yeah.
You're bruised. You're hurt." And she's like,
Yeah.
"Yes, you can be hurt."
Yeah, her fight with Homelander at the end is so good. Because like she can tell like, oh, I'm working here. I'm doing the Lord's work now. And like she's smiling. He's like got the bloody nose. God, I'm so glad.
That fight between Maeve and Homelander.
I really like how that fight ends because it's like because Soldier Boy is now he's about ready to pop. The whole building's gonna go. And like Starlight and everyone else will die. And he's just and you see Starlight. We focus on Starlight because she has the moments like there's nowhere we can go where we will survive this.
Mm-hmm.
And Maeve has this moment where it's just like son of a bitch, and she just gets one good punch in and just goes for it, and that's so good.
Mindstorm using the nun and the priest.
Oh yes.
Oh, and because the way that's set up because Soldier Boy is like, oh, we can help you. Let me take a look. And Soldier Boy has been up until this point acting very paranoid because he's high. He's like super high, and because like Butcher's like he needs to be calmed down from his PTSD, and so he's been acting paranoid. So we think that this is just him being paranoid, but it turns out he's right.
Yeah,
that was a good. Honestly, that scene was a good 180 because after like you know he shoots the priest, the nun is crying, and Huey's trying to be like, you can't just go around and kill random people. And the second the nun just jumps up and says, "Die!" I was like, well, shit. Okay, you were right.
Huey's little like,
yeah. Huey's all no, f this, Jesus. Like, I really like Mindstorm's effect, by the way, of his iris expanding over the rest of his eye to get into your head. I thought that was really good. Also, a really great effect is the dagger that goes into Mindstorm's eye. When Soldier Boy throws it, that was a great practical. That looked really good. Just thought that was super well done. Let's see.
I like Soldier Boy's shield.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I thought the shield was really cool.
What if Captain America kept a pointy shield? Some good deaths with that shield too.
When A-Train does go to his brother and he's mad at him for murdering Blue Hawk, he's like, I want him dead. I wanted my kids to see his mugshot on TV. I wanted justice.
Yeah.
That's not justice what you did. I just thought that was really good. I really like the way A-Train's brother has tried to keep on a trajectory of moral justice for the people, and A-Train just does not understand it, doesn't get it, doesn't connect with it, and it's painful to watch, but the way that he's just done with him,
because like you have this moment where A-Train's brother says to, you know, because it's the thing is like because he starts to say it like what you've done, and he cuts off, but like what A-Train has done is kind of make Blue Hawk a martyr. And by killing him, that's not, you know, that's kind of what. Sorry, FBI agents, but that's kind of what I always talked about. Like my mother constantly wants to be like, well, why doesn't somebody just kill Trump? Well, you can't. You just make him a martyr if you do that.
Right.
You need to have justice. Killing a person who has wronged you is not justice.
Justice, not vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Batman. That's Batman's whole thing, right?
Absolutely.
Like, right? That's why nobody understands Batman. Like, why doesn't Batman just kill the Joker? Well, that's not justice. That's vengeance, and
Right.
that's Batman wants justice.
Yeah, but in The Boys, Batman would kill.
And he'd be wrong.
That's true.
The little cartoon birds reading the note for Black Noir when he hands it to Homelander, and they're like, "Let's fuck up Soldier Boy!"
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. And then one other note that I had here is the Jensen Ackles is really good as Soldier Boy. We went over that, like, truly great performance all around. One of my favorite scenes though with him is him and Butcher in the last episode bonding over bad dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, like, and then I became Soldier Boy. I did the test, and Butcher's, like, did that make your dad proud? And he said I took a shortcut. A real man wouldn't have needed to cheat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wanted a little talk about Butcher's dad once more, because you have the scene where it's like we had the previously on The Boys where we see John Noble again, and I was like, oh, are we revisiting this? And you just have the moment where, like, you see you can't be a little, what do you say? You can't be a little poof all your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you get the moment where Butcher reiterates that. And I think the scene that really hurts is when Butcher is able to communicate with Lenny, right? That's his brother named Lenny.
Yeah.
Was able to, like, communicate with him, and he's pleading with him, "Don't do this. Stop. I couldn't leave the barracks. I didn't abandon you. I did this to protect you. But, like, leaving it is what made it worse."
Yeah.
Such brilliant writing. This show's really good, guys.
And to have Lenny shoot himself and, like, the blood appear on, like, old man Butcher's face. Yeah. It's really well shot.
Yeah. I think the show is incredible.
Yeah, this is a really good show.
I believe season 4 starts shooting in a couple months, so it won't be a 2-year wait. Hopefully,
in that same scene, real quick, like the Soldier Boy, one of the lines that really got me was the Butcher assumes, like, "Oh, your dad took the belt to you," and he says, "No, wasn't even worth it." Like that was his dad's perspective. I wasn't even worth.
Oh, because he comes from a rich family.
Yeah, I wasn't even worth the attention to abuse to put me in shape. Like, I was just a disappointment already. And it's like this different perspective from the physical abuse of what he had on it.
Emotional abuse. Yeah.
Especially coming from, because of what age Soldier Boy would have been, like, coming from a generation where, like, hitting your kids, like, was a common go-to for discipline. And he's like, I wasn't even worth it to him to do that.
Yeah, you forget that Soldier Boy came from Stormfront's generation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You even get a name drop of Liberty in Herogasm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Liberty.
We do.
Liberty.
And I think what's interesting is, like, those early Vought trials. It's so weird. It's so interesting how some of the I also like the reference back to I got into Dr. Vaught's clinical trials, and, like, that kind of harkens back to, like, the origins of the superheroes that we heard about in the first season and the second season, and the first season, but, like, with Stormfront, that parallels Stormfront's creation. And it's so interesting to me, like, which superheroes are ageless and which aren't. Like maybe a lot of those early superheroes are ageless, and some of them and like that's why Homelander is also ageless, because he came from that generation. Like he is created from that generation.
Right.
Interesting to think about.
Yeah. There's a few of them. I mean, like, it's obviously just wanting the actors for both the past and the present stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, it's an interesting point. I think the last thing I want to touch on really is just the brutality of Soldier Boy's, like, he sees right through Homelander so quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're weak and pathetic and nothing that I would have raised you to be. Awful, just brutal.
And, like, he does it, like, in front of his grandson too.
Yeah. But he doesn't give a shit.
No, but that's what I mean. Like if there was any, like, familiar bond between, like, a father and a grandson, it's like, no, like, you're all shit.
Well, and it really plays to everything Soldier Boy says he believes in is horseshit.
Yeah, he's a big phony.
Yeah,
100%.
He's a big phony all around and at all times.
All right. Think that covers it?
Man, I mean, like, as best we can in an hour and a half, covering four fully packed, wonderfully rich episodes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a
there
rich
was-
chocolate cake.
I mean, I would agree the little Nina stuff is like the lowest point of the season, but everything else was like, I want to see how this plays out. I want to see how this ends.
You know what? I will say that the lowest points of the boys are still higher than some of the lowest points of other shows.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
I agree with that.
yeah, for sure. Just truly wonderful television.
I think
Where
it was
where do you think we're going? I mean, obviously, one of my favorite changes is that Annie's just gonna be part of it now, like intimately part of what the boys are doing now.
I wouldn't be shocked if we get not a big time jump, but like a month. So we have President Bob and Vice President Newman.
I mean, they've done real-time time jumps so far.
Oh, that's true.
Because that's why they did like the
It was
in
a year.
canon, in canon the again, like I forget his fake name, but the Tucker Carlson stand-in guy that they have working for Vought Coleman, they had him doing his monthly updates, and that was happening in the real time. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep that trajectory for the most part. Up to this next season.
Yeah, president stuff will be like
probably
like on Twitter
probably about another year.
Yeah.
I can see a new version of the 7 formed, because right now there's only 3 of them left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can see like we'll see new heroes introduced.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
New radical right heroes too.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They'll be chosen to play to that base, not to appeal to the ones who are fans of Starlight or anything like that.
Vengeance, not justice.
And then you'll see how that kind of affects A Train in the Deep. How they have to deal with they have to walk that radical line, even though they don't quite follow it.
Right.
With other heroes that do walk that radical line.
Brandon, that's such a good prediction.
Yeah.
God, that is such a good prediction. You're probably so correct.
I wouldn't be shocked if there's something akin to a superhero registration act, but for Vought, where you can only be a hero if you work for Vought. Something like that. With the president the vice president being part of it, with Homelander being CEO, I could see them having like the capital on superheroes, and like you have to be a superhero with the company or you're a vigilante and we would hunt you down or something. I could see that being a trajectory.
I can see Starlight's got attention and popularity. There are people who are listening and paying attention. I think we'll see some supers from that side,
the resistance,
who agree with what Starlight's doing, and they'll want to support her or be of help or rally a cause of something that's anti the 7.
Yeah.
The 6.
Because all superheroes, whether they know it or not, work for Vought, essentially.
Right. And we might see a shattering of that now. Superheroes who can no longer stand by what Vought's doing, because of Homelander killing someone, and that they'll deregister themselves from Vought, just like Starlight did.
The Boys Civil War.
That's very likely what we're heading for. I mean, they pretty much clean that out very, very clearly with all the yellow shirts and the pro-America, pro-Homelander side of the two protests, the Free Maeve protest that was happening. It's very clearly like causing that divide. And that's the thing. That's the change now, is because Homelander has his audience, but his audience is not everybody anymore.
Yeah. Can't wait. At any rate,
there's just one character I can't wait to see get it, and I hope he gets it from like someone he idolizes, and it's Todd. I hope that Todd just eats it in the end.
Bro, Homelander's gonna kill Todd, absolutely. On accident, not even realizing it.
Yeah.
I want to know, do we think this goes for 4 seasons or 5? I think 5.
I think 5. I think that's Kripke's sweet spot that he prefers is a 5-season arc, but I'd be hard pressed to see the show going any further than that.
Yeah.
I don't think next season is the last. I don't get that impression.
I don't think they will reverse Butcher's 12 to 18 month diagnosis. I think Butcher is on the slow trajectory. I don't think he's going to get superpowers like forever. I don't think they're going to heal him. So I think there will be.
You don't think that they'll give him Compound V and it'll like fix it?
Yeah, I don't think they would, because I agree, Brandon. Like they've gone this far without giving them full powers. I think the Temp V is the most we'll get, and this was their experiment using it, I think.
And to use it again would just be to reiterate what you've already done.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that'll do it then. Let me hobble up close to the microphone so we can end this. My back doesn't hurt at all, I promise. Okay, so that's Fake Nerds Watch for the boys. Thank you, everyone, for this. Hopefully, next season it does not come out with other shows, with many other shows, and we can do this weekly, or at least every
Or
other week.
bi-weekly. I'll do 2. That's fine too.
Could you imagine if this drops again at the same time as Stranger Things season 5, and then like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: we've watched enough Marvel shows where like The Boys deserves the time that other shows might be getting.
Yeah,
we should. The Boys should be The Boys.
No, I understand. The issue was quite honestly Stranger Things.
Oh no, I know.
Like it doesn't necessarily the Marvel shows because we
actually I think the issue truly for our scheduling purposes was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
which just should not have happened at the same time as Miss Marvel.
Yeah, that was yeah.
And shouldn't have happened. Quite honestly, when you see the boys on the schedule, you should clear that schedule. Like everyone should. Because the boys like will dominate no matter what. I don't care what other shows on TV. The boys will dominate the discussion every week. And Amazon was smart after the first season to release it weekly.
Oh yeah, big time.
All right, so that'll do it for the boys. Can't wait for the next season. So that's that. This was Fake Nerds Watch. There's if you guys missed our first part of the boys, I don't know why you did, but if you did, go check that out. That's up now. We also have the Stranger Things episode, probably out by now. The part 2 of the Stranger Things episode is there. We have Miss Marvel and we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, as mentioned. So lots of Fake Nerds Watch, and it's finally subsiding. Not a lot of shows out right now, so we can finally take a bit of a break before Andor and She-Hulk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Probably an Umbrella Academy in between, but we'll see.
When we get the chance, there will be Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. So stay tuned for all of that. So fun stuff on its way. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. You can check out all sorts of other shows, such as Fake Nerds Watch, as I mentioned. Strange New Worlds final episode is coming, so stay tuned. And yeah, Basement Arcade Pause Menu. That's our video game discussion show. Where recently we just put out an episode where you guys did a Q1, Q2 quarterly, kind of halfway through the year check up on some games and stuff, things like that. You guys have been playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have Basement Arcade, which is our Let's Play series where we play video games and chat. Fake Nerd Book Club and Animation Station are other shows that are on this channel you can check out. Again, like this video, subscribe to this channel. We go live every Sunday for our mothership show, the Fake Nerd Podcast, live every Sunday. Click the bell icon to find out when, because it's kind of sporadic, but mostly early in the day at this point. So stay tuned for real quickly, the episode that has just aired was Thor Love and Thunder. So check out, I'm Goldbluming, I'm sorry. So check out Thor Love and Thunder, our review there. And you can check out this week, we are not doing an episode. We are in fact going to be doing a Mike's Impossible Movie Trivia Challenge. Ooh. Our good friend Mike Batola is returning after far too long. And he is going to, as mentioned on the episode where we announced this, it will be How to Train Your Dragon.
I gotta learn how to train him.
So everyone, watch your movies and remember it's not multiple choice. All right, so that'll do it. If you want to support us financially, you can check out us. You can check out our TeePublic and our Patreon, which are linked below, or on our website. All the links you can find on our website at FakeNerdPodcast.com. Fake Nerd Podcast and all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, FakeNerdGuys@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for Screen Rant, where I've got a few Thor Love and Thunder articles that are probably published about now. You can check out. I also write for Atomic Geekdom, where I write a few things, such as revisiting the Infinity Saga series, which the most recent one will be about Thor. That's coming up this week. And I edit for KaijuRomanMedia.com. Ben?
You can find me continuing to believe Starlight and not buy into any of Vought's lies at BenMagnet27 on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also find me writing for Old School Gamer Magazine, GoNintendo.com, and Fusion Gaming Magazine, where the latest issue has my newest article in it. So, woo.
And Ryan?
You could find me at DJ Tony Snark 616 everywhere, all the time, everywhere, all at once, all the places.
And Sparks?
You can find me taking that A train to Africa, baby, at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty. So
Is that
upsetting.
Is that a video game about the slave trade?
Oh my god.
Oh, Lord.
Passage.
Okay. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Until next time you see us, guys, stay fake nerds.